Welcome, everybody. Sportsbook Review. It's March 21st, March Madness for college basketball. But in the NHL, it's PuckHeads time. I'm talking once again with Dana Lane. Dana went 2-1. He's back on that ticket cashing train. That's now 9 out of 10 shows that he has cashed and come up positive units. So leading the charge, Dana. Hey, how's everything going? And are you finally back from Ohio?
I'm finally back from Ohio. I thought I saw the sun yesterday, but it was just a pair of headlights. And for 5 days in Columbus, I didn't see the sun, which is fine with me because we'll get more than enough sun here in Vegas over the summer. But it was a great experience. But needless to say, I'm happy to be back in my own bed.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, 2-1, great job. You're getting it done. And for our followers, you can reach Dana at DanaLaneSports.com on his website and at Dana Lane Sports on Twitter. All right, Dana does a lot of tweeting, puts out plays as it gets closer to dropping the puck because, you know, sometimes that's where the advantage is. All right, Dana, great to have you back on. Let's get right into it. What do you got for us today?
Well, we got 3 plays that are very similar to each other, and we're going to get plus money in all of them. And the first one's going to be Calgary and Washington. We're going under 5 plus $1.25. You can find that line at 5 dimes right now. And interesting enough, the public has jumped all over the over in this. Over 91% of all the tickets written have been on the over, which I am sure the books anticipated, considering that the number is at 5 instead of 5.5. And you know, when you look at these things, you have to start with goaltending, and you have to say, do I have solid goaltending enough to put me on the under? And certainly in the Calgary spot, you look at Brian Elliott and how red hot he has been lately. He's won 12. Calgary's won 12 out of 13. At one point, they had won 10 straight until the loss the other night against the Bruins. Elliott himself has won 11 straight. And in fact, if he wins tonight, he'll set the franchise record for most consecutive wins. So you're not going to have to worry about defensive effort from Calgary. And certainly when you talk about the Capitals, a lot of emphasis is put on the offense, but they are one of the premier defensive teams in the National Hockey League as well. So we have no problem going on the under tonight, plus $1.25 at 5 dimes. And we feel very confident about that selection.
You know, I know you've been traveling, you've been busy, but I don't know if you broke it down yet, but every single hockey game yesterday was an under, except one was a push. The one that was 6 was a push. So I'm looking, it's that time of year. You got teams really, really trying to lock down because defense wins championships. And I'm just wondering, is this a trend or a pattern you see year in and year out as far as your experience?
Yeah, nothing I've really noticed, Mike. I mean, that, you know, those things do happen. And let's just keep in mind, it's not something that kind of sends out a wow factor. I mean, you are talking essentially about playoff hockey this time of year. And what happens during playoff hockey? You get a lot of tight checking, low scoring games. The teams are sending 2 forecheckers more than normal. I mean, they're really trying to get those 2 points and trying to disrupt the opposition. So it's not surprising to me. And then, of course, you have the bookmakers that are focused on the college basketball tournaments that are still putting 5.5s and 6-ups.
Those lines tend to be loose. But my question is for you, do you think the betting public, and this is for our viewers that are not really too tight on being schooled in hockey, will just absolutely run to the box tonight and bet the over? Because yesterday, oh my God, every game finished under. They're all going to go over. Is that the general trend sometimes you see for, you know, the betting public that is not really knowledgeable as far as, you know, being sharp in hockey?
Yeah, well, I can definitely tell you that wouldn't surprise me if that happened. But early betting trends this morning indicates that really hasn't played in. Like we said, in this specific game, over 91% of the total bets written on the total have been on the over. And I think more so, Mike, people take a look at certain teams and then automatically just go to the window and bet Washington over and bet Pittsburgh over. And, that I think that's more of a trend than it is what happened as a whole.
Okay. Good stuff. I like breaking it down like that because it's like there's a few teams that are playing on back-to-backs, and I'm, again, my mind's just saying, okay, well, makes sense. Yesterday that was a low-scoring game for them. Today, maybe again today, but you know what? Hell, maybe it goes the other way because it is March Madness. All right, hit us with your second pick, Dana.
Well, just to expound on that too, Mike, it is interesting because if one thing happened the night before, I always tend to look at the opposite because that's just the way sports are. If we were betting games based upon what we just saw, there would be no sports books and we'd all be millionaires.
Yep.
But 9 times out of 10, it goes completely the opposite. My second game tonight is the Pittsburgh and Buffalo. We're going under in that one, minus $1.05. You can also get that at 5 dimes. Evgeny Malkin will be out his third straight game with the upper body injury, and I really expect, at least from the Pittsburgh side, I really expect just a clean game. I don't really expect a physical game because let's keep in mind about the Sabres, even though that's not a team that's going to make the playoffs this year, they are a very dangerous power play team. And I think if I'm the Penguins who are looking at that, staring right at that President's Cup trophy, which is maybe not a trophy you want to win, but they certainly are in position to do so. I go into this game tonight and say, look, this is a team we should beat. This is their strength, which is their power play, and I think we just go and play our game. We get ahead 2 or 3 goals, and we just play dump and chase and keep away the rest of the game. And let's also remember that the Buffalo Sabres have made a few call-ups from Rochester. You had Casey Nelson and Brady Austin have come up, and I think that if I have the Pittsburgh Penguins coming into my barn for some of those kids, and they're looking at some of the greatest players in the world, there might be a little starstruck going on. So I'm not sure how much cohesion we're going to get offensively with the Buffalo Sabres. And this is a team that's had a hard time putting the puck in the net all season anyway, even without injuries. So I like the under 6 tonight, minus $1.05 at 5 dimes.
Yeah, I like that breakdown. The starstruck makes sense, and you know what? 9 times out of 10, it does. It hits them. It has that effect, the jitterbugs, and it takes a period of time to work that out. All right, hit us with your third one, Dane, and then I'll hit you with my one and only.
Okay. The last one is just going to be the Rangers and Devils, 5 under the total. You're getting plus $1.10 at Heritage. I think this is going to be an old school Ranger Devil physical battle, a lot of clutching and grabbing, a lot of hitting. The Rangers have allowed only 1 power play goal in their last 6 games. And that's good news because the New Jersey Devils are one of the worst power play teams in the league. So we're not going to have to worry about getting some cheap goals from a power play. Over 77% of all the tickets written so far have been on the over, which is great because we 9 times out of 10 would love to be on the opposite side of the public. And, the Devils are definitely better on a penalty kill, as are the Rangers. They're also a better team in the faceoff circle. And what that means tonight is you can bet that the Devils will certainly carry some of the play, but they just don't have the offensive weapons to be able to, break this game into a 4-2, 5-3 game. But both teams are sound enough defensively where I feel good about the under here. And, of course, we're getting plus money.
Okay, and again, as I was mentioning earlier, after a night like last night on the slate, almost every single game, well, they all did, everything finished under except for the push. There's a perfect example, 77% on that game, the betting public running to the over, automatically thinking, God, it's got to explode tonight. You know what? Great breakdowns. I really like it, and I can tell this is that time of year, Dana, when you still, you're always focused, but this is that time of year you can really find a sharper edge because of what's going on with March Madness. Am I correct?
No, yeah, that's for sure. We've said this 100 times. And some of these lines, we look at them and we're just saying, either they're really trying to get you to play a side or they're not watching. And, I've gone from really believing that bookmakers knew what they were doing with the NHL to just saying they're not watching. They're just putting a number up and crossing their fingers that it holds true. You can find some real soft lines with most of these games, especially in the month of March.
That's it. And viewers, you got to listen to that. 8 out of 9 shows cashing big time. You got to take that information. You know what? I got burned by this team last time, and I'm not betting it again today because it's my home team. I just think it makes sense, and this is going to let me know what is in the tank, if there's anything left in the tank for this team. And I'm talking about the Flyers going to Winnipeg. All right, they've got no room for error whatsoever. Goaltender Steve Mason said, this is it. Every single game from here on out is a must win. I just think the momentum, very little momentum, but they grabbed it on that 4-3 win last game out. All right, they tied the game with under a minute left, and then a minute into overtime, bam, put it away. All right, so that sometimes can spark some motivation, and that's what I'm leaning. They're 7 points out of the final, second and final wild card spot. So I'm looking at the Flyers, got them at 5 dimes at plus 110. I know it's risky, Dana, and I know I've bet them 6 times. They've bit me 3, and they've cashed 3. What are your thoughts on my Flyers today?
I will say this. It's interesting. Another line that's extremely interesting that, Winnipeg would come out such a big favorite against Philadelphia, and I guess it's, there's a travel factor involved there as well. But honestly, I mean, this is a Winnipeg team that knows that they're not going to make the playoffs against the Flyer team that it certainly still is. And in fact, Mike, if they don't make the playoffs, it'll be the first time in history that a team has won 10 straight during the regular season and has not made the playoffs.
And you know what? I got to interrupt you there because
okay.
You're just absolutely letting our viewers know. But I take it personal. I'm like, you know what? That's the 5th time Dana Lane's told me that about my damn Flyers. Winning 10 straight, maybe not going to the playoffs, but I love it. I love it. Keep it going here. What
Sorry, that's my go-to stat. I always find it fascinating.
Well, it is. It is fascinating. I mean, how can a team be so locked in for 10 games straight and then everything just goes south so quick, so bad, and then so consistently goes south? I hope tonight something happens. And you know what? I really think because of that 4-3 win, because they still have that heartbeat, they're 7 points out. I think if they could get some momentum tonight, get this win, they might be somebody to look out for going in hot, like you always say. The team going in hot. Now, again, it's a long shot, but that's got to be their thinking. Wouldn't you say so?
Hey, Mike, I'll tell you this about the Flyers. They really remind me of the Boston Bruins early on. They carry play pretty well. I mean, they have no problem getting the puck on their stick and carrying plays into the offensive zone. The problem with the Flyers is, I hate to say this, Mike, they're just not tough enough.
Yeah.
They're not tough in the corners. They're not tough in front of the net, and they don't win battles.
And you know what? Again, now the Flyers fans coming out at me. That shit's going to stop. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Dave Schultz. I'm going to call Bobby Clark. Hell, I'm going to call Bernie Perrant, and I'm going to tell them all, you got to get to this arena because this team knows nothing about the word tough, and I cannot agree anymore. I absolutely have said that to a good friend of mine through the course of the season. I do not see that chip on the shoulder. I don't see that cockiness of, hey, if we got to drop the stick in the gloves, we're going to do it. Great point.
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, Mike, I mean, you have to be encouraged because they're 5th in the league right now in shots on goal, which is telling you that they're getting the pucks to the net. Yep. But there's a difference. The Bruins, for a long time, basically until Claude Julien got fired, ironically enough, would get pucks to the net, but there'd be nobody there to get rebounds. They basically were just happy. Forcing face-offs in the offensive zone. There was no toughness, and they weren't winning battles. And I think Philadelphia is kind of in that same boat. But, you get a few greasy goals here and there, and the dynamic of your team changes. But they're certainly right there. You add a little toughness to the Flyers, and I think that they do have the potential to make some noise in the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we can get the phone numbers to those 3 that I was talking about, they'll add some toughness. I'd still take Dave Schultz to whoop any of their asses right now. Okay, folks, you heard it. That's the Puckheads for today. Dana, what do you think? How about Thursday we do a little breakdown on who we think really has the best momentum going into the playoffs and maybe do a futures update?
No, that'd be fantastic. I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, well, let's get prepared to do that. Viewers, thanks for tuning in. Again, Dana Lane, 8 out of 9 shows, cashing big tickets. I don't see any reason why it doesn't continue tonight. All right, Dana, thanks again. Let's get it done, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, Mike. I hope you have a great day.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.